Hello, friends. Today I'm going to share something that I have always wanted to share, but I never do because it's kind of abstract and I don't know if it's going to make sense or if anybody's going to believe me or anything. But um, I have been the victim of group stalking for about 9 years, and it's happened to me everywhere that I've gone. I've moved multiple times. I've moved from state to state trying to escape the problem, but I have a condition, some kind of anomaly where people can read my mind. I know that sounds crazy, but I don't care because I know that some of you are aware of this anyway and just act like you don't know. And so I feel extra lonely and super isolated. But yeah, I think I'm the only person on the earth with this problem. And it wasn't a problem, actually. It was a blessing, and it is a blessing, and it is a gift. And I have a function to play and a role to play in the liberation of the human race, and it's a very important one. Uh, I made a lot of mistakes, in my youth. Well, and so that took me that put me in danger and put me in harm's way, and so that I became surrounded by hostile people instead of kind people. So I've been living in this hostile situation for about 9 years, and the problem that it is that well, there's a lot to it, but one of the main things is sleep deprivation, because part of being able to read a person the way that people can read me, they know when I'm awake, they know when I'm sleeping, they know what I'm thinking, they know how I'm feeling, they know what decisions I'm making. So it's become a situation of thought control and thought policing. And um, so I want to talk about the thought policing part because I think that's the part that's relevant to all of you and to all of society and to the world at large, because thought policing is very evil. Human beings, adult human beings, are sovereign. We have freedom of thought that is ordained by heaven, that is ordained by God. And thinking is what makes us human. It's what separates us from animals. I don't really think animals think. They function a different way. But human beings, we think and we contemplate and we decide, and we make plans, and we figure out how we can improve our world and how we can improve ourselves, improve our life. Well, I have been prevented from doing that by the thought police, and the way that they control me is with battery and domestic violence. So it's not a physical battery where they're touching me directly, but they use sound as a weapon. So I've had people blast video games, very loud video game noises at me all night. I've had, obviously stereo music. I've had people just bang, use their hand, kick the wall, use their foot all night, and so I've been punished and I've been remediated for thinking thoughts, and especially if a spontaneous thought arises. Oh gosh, and that's something I'm not even in control of. It's an involuntary thought, but the way that the mind works, the mind has a subconscious part and a conscious part, and the subconscious part is filled with all kinds of wonderful, magnificent juiciness down in there. And sometimes it spurts out a little. You have a little fissure, a little crack in the surface of your conscious mind, and those thoughts come forward because they are trying to communicate with you. It's your subconscious trying to communicate with your conscious mind. Well, this whole cycle has been I won't say it's been destroyed, because I don't think you can really destroy the mechanism. I think if I was free, if I ever got out of this bondage that I'm in, that I would be thinking like regular. Everything would be back to normal. So what I want to say is that back in 1919, something happened in the world that was so dreadful, and it was so dark, and it was so awful, and it's something that most people in the world don't even know about. And well, I can't say most people in the world because I don't know. I really don't know. But I do know that this thing happened in Russia, And the Russian people don't talk, they don't, the Russian elders and, the boomers and stuff, they don't like to talk about it. But the children, the teenagers and the high school students and stuff, maybe like 30 years ago and stuff, they had to read a book called the Gulag Archipelago. And I highly recommend every American, I recommend that you listen to the Gulag Archipelago. It's Gulag Archipelago. You can hear the audiobook on YouTube, and that is where I listen to it. I think there's like 4 or 5 parts or 7 parts. It's kind of long, but you have to know what happened. You just have to. You have to see how it unfolded. You have to know what happened in this Bolshevik revolution. You have to know about this. You have to know who Stalin was. You have to understand that thought policing is absolutely evil. Okay? Stalking, the government stalking the people is evil. The government taking control over the means of production is evil. Communism is evil. Evil. Period. Okay? You have to know that. We have to, because what I'm seeing is, like I said, I've been group stalked, okay? And it's not just the people in my life and the people in my home, but it's the people everywhere. If I go to the grocery store, people will I'm having this conversation with the outside people all the time. And it's for, if I have a thought right now, I'll get a response from some people out here, because that's just it's all eyes on me. All his focus is on me. And so I know that people are in agreement that this is okay, that thought policing is okay, and that censoring people's thoughts is okay, and remediating people's thoughts is okay. I'm being constantly corrected, okay, because of my thoughts, okay? My thoughts are mine, and I'm in my own private space, in my own private world, and I'm being controlled in that way. I want to share this because it's not going to turn out well if we don't stop this. Okay, it has to change. It has to, we have to take a stand for freedom. Somehow we have to stand up for the people who are in bondage all over the world, for the people who are enslaved all over the world, because this is a form of slavery. I am a slave. I'm living my life as a prisoner. I won't say I'm living my life as a slave, because I don't let anyone control me per se. I do what I can to fight, and I fight hard, and I'm so tired and exhausted, but I fight with every ounce of strength that I have in every way that I can, and people judge me and criticize me and put me down and tell me I'm not good enough, and I'm not doing good enough. And it's really become very, we're on that tipping point societally where things can get really bad overnight. The government has taken full control of the food supply, and that's the same thing that happened in Bolshevik Russia. Everybody needs to know what happened with the Bolsheviks. Everybody needs to know what happened with Hitler. Okay, Hitler was sort of like a Martin Luther King character. He was getting justice for his people. He didn't hate Jews. Okay, he hated the Jewish leadership that was bringing cultural Marxism into Germany, because Germany was a conservative country. Does that sound familiar? Does that sound familiar? Is the United States not a relatively conservative country? Aren't all of the countries really relatively conservative? There's a force of decay and of death that infiltrates these conservative countries, because these people have a vendetta. They hate conservatism. They hate morals. They hate values. They hate families. They don't like mothers. They really especially hate motherhood and mothers, because that's kind of the backbone of a culturally compassionate and loving and sympathetic and sensitive society, is the mother. And so these people are trying to destroy motherhood. They're trying to destroy malehood and womanhood and everything. They're trying to pervert everything and distort everything. And we have to understand that the threat is not just, it's not far away. It's not something that is not going to impact your life. It's impacting all of our lives. Okay? This whole bit about we're supposed to wear a muzzle, we have to cover our mouth. All of this stuff, believe me, is symbolic. They're trying to They are trying to silence us in order to control us. Because if we can't speak for ourselves, then we won't speak for ourselves. And right now, we're not speaking for ourselves. These people are terraforming the planet. My sky is completely covered in aerosol spray. 100%. I can look all the way to the north and all the way to the south. It's completely covered in aerosol spray. And it's close to me. It's only maybe 1,500 feet up or something, and it's raining down on me right here as I sit here outside. It's raining down on me, it's raining down on the soil, and I feel powerless because I am a prisoner. I am a prisoner in my own home. This is a warning, okay? This is a warning to everyone. You need to really get a grip on reality here. The same forces that infiltrated Russia back then, the same Bolshevik forces, are the same ones that are infiltrating America now. And whatever you might think about Trump, whatever you think about Trump, I invite you to please open your mind, okay? We've been brainwashed. You know, the official narratives of things are propagated by the enemy, by our enemy. The enemy owns the media. They own the media. They own the internet. I mean, they own the equipment, you know, I mean, whatever. They don't own the internet. The internet is ours, you know, that's our thing. The system is our thing. We created the system, and we can gain control of the system. But I need to be free. I'm really important in all of this. So anybody who wants to help me get free, that would be a good thing. But I'm saying this for my own benefit, but I'm also saying it just to encourage everyone to get educated about history. Okay, find out about the concentration camps and who really had concentration camps, and what were concentration camps, and what were the camps that they had in Germany and Auschwitz, because those camps were actually those camps were to receive the multitudes of Russian citizens who escaped Stalin, because Stalin was literally showing up at people's houses in the middle of the night to carry them away and put them in a paddy wagon and carry them off to a prison that you would not believe the atrocities that were done to their own people in their own country. These people were not criminals, okay? But they were being stalked, and they were being forced into confessions. They were being forced to make confessions of crimes they didn't commit to save their loved ones and things like that. I mean, pure evil. Absolute pure evil. Everything that you feel about Hitler, everything that they transposed or imposed or projected onto Hitler, just take all of that emotion that you have, all of that hatred and all of that venom and all of that outrage and how disgusting, and place that onto Stalin, okay? Because that's who owns that. He's the one that did the atrocities. The Gulag Archipelago, I implore everyone to get familiar with that story, because it's happening, it's unfolding now in our country. And we're not far away from them showing up to people's door and saying, we saw you in this place at this time, and you've been infected, and we have to take you off to a camp. We're not that far away from that happening, people. Okay? It is up to us. I hate to be a doomsayer, but this is not getting any better on my end. I'm begging these people to stop the thought control, to stop the thought policing, because it doesn't lead to a good place. Okay? Thought policing leads to human bondage, and that is the only thing that it can lead to. And you know, Americans and people in general, they usually won't change until something horrible happens and until they have to change. And that's what I'm afraid of, because I think that people are just drinking the Kool-Aid and being complacent right now because you're not suffering. I'm suffering terribly, and that's why I talk about the way that I do. I've been group stalked for 9 years. I have no relationships. My family can't really cope. Like, no boyfriend or man. Nobody can cope, and I'm scapegoated and blamed for everything that goes wrong in the world. It's a very lonely and very harsh. It's very rough for me. But Like I said, I know that my Father in heaven loves me, and I know that my Father in heaven loves us all. God loves us all, and God is always ready at any moment to bless us, to empower us, the people, against the enemy, because the enemy is not us. The enemy is not like us at all. The enemy doesn't know how to love. The enemy has never known love. The enemy has never known tenderness or compassion. You know, that's what they are. They are beings that have been turned away from love since birth. They have never been encouraged in a positive way. They've only been encouraged when they do something evil. They've been encouraged to do more evil. So they're not like us, and we should never be trying to be like them. It should never be okay for any of us to enslave any of us others. It should never be okay for us to walk by and see, like the women in Saudi Arabia. Study that. Study what's going on with the Saudi women and how they live. They are prisoners. They are literally prisoners. And the males are ashamed that there are women on the earth. The Saudi males are ashamed of women. And they all came from a woman's body. Can you imagine? If the male supremacy and the male chauvinism continues on and carries on, the distortion in the mind is going to be so evil and so ratchet, and life just won't be worth living. You know, there won't be any quality of life. So yeah, find out about Stalin. Also, if you can, find things on Hitler. Although they have taken everything down from YouTube, it's going to be hard to find. I posted a lot of things on my Facebook feed, but I couldn't even roll back that far because I have posted a lot since then. I couldn't find the videos that I posted, but I don't think those videos are there anymore anyway. But there is a website, and there are things on the internet that you can still find to find out, was the Jewish Holocaust real? Did it happen? Okay. Because I can summarize what happened. Basically, a bunch of refugees came from Eastern Europe into Western Europe. They wanted to get to the West, and all of the German soldiers that were in Eastern Europe, they were fighting to liberate those people, the Eastern European people, because Stalin was locking everybody up. Stalin locked up all the farmers so that the people ran out of food, and many people starved to death. All the food was rationed out. This is what they're doing right now. This is what Bill Gates is doing. They're trying to end meat. They don't want anybody to have animal products. They're gonna have us on Soylent Green. They're gonna have us on their standard of nutrition, which is artificial, Monsanto based, chemical based nutrition. In the UK right now, they're forcing people to register their animals. So if you have any chickens, they're going to force you to register each one of your chickens, and your chickens have to have vaccinations and papers, and there's all these conditions. They have to be, it's just they're going to town right now because people are too distracted. Everybody's what are y'all talking about? What is everybody thinking about? What is everybody out there in the world doing? I don't know. But whatever it is, it's allowing the enemy to just have his way. So that's all I got to say right now. Thanks for watching.